Hello, virtual world of educators and parents. Ever needed a solution to a specific problem? Maybe it was a specific problem in your classroom or your child's classroom? Has that specific problem ever been communication between parents and teachers? Do you have a Twitter? If you've ever answered yes to any of these questions, you're in the right place. This podcast has been created for parents, teachers, or just curious individuals looking for a way to solve communication problems in schools. So sit back, relax, and get ready to be convinced in using this new and wonderful tool called Twitter to better your communication between parents and teachers. My name is Megan Canine, and this podcast has been created for EDU 536 Instructional Materials and Web-Based Instructional Design for Dr. Mark Furta of Franciscan University of Steubenville. Twitter, solving problems in the classroom. After this podcast, you will gain a deeper understanding about how Twitter in the elementary classroom can alleviate a specific problem that is currently being experienced. You will also learn the positives and negatives about Twitter in the classroom and how to overcome barriers of using Twitter in the classroom. Identifying needs in the classroom is an important step to take when making improvements. You must be aware of a current problem in the classroom in order to know what should be fixed and how it should be done. Improving communication is something that I am always trying to do as an educator, and that many educators around me are trying to improve as well. It is important to me to have clear communication between parents and teachers so that parents are always aware of what is happening in the classroom with their child. It is also important for myself to be aware if parents have any problems, questions, or concerns in regards to their child's education. And it is important for children to know that their parents are very much involved in their education when communication is clear and active. Currently, I have 5 different forms of communication that I use in my classroom. These forms of communication include composition books, which are used as written communication and are sent home and returned to school daily, the folders, which usually contain monthly newsletters, permission slips, and daily work, the telephone, which is the quickest form of communication, email, which is usually best during the hours when we're not in the building, and finally, face-to-face communication, which is best when serious issues arise. Offering all of these different forms of communication allows parents and teachers the opportunity to reach each other easier and more efficiently. With every program, there's always room for improvement. Even though we have many effective forms of communication, occasionally we still run into situations where they just aren't enough. By improving this issue now will help to decrease any problems in the future. In order to improve communication issues, we must offer other forms of communication that both fit the needs and lifestyles of teachers and parents. If something is implemented that parents or teachers do not understand, it will become pointless. What should we as educators incorporate in the classroom in order to improve the communication between parents and teachers? How about Twitter? According to Gwen Solomon and Lynn Shrum, authors of Web 2.0 How-To for Educators, Twitter has become a popular tool for educators to connect with one another, to get advice or information quickly, share points of view, or just stay in touch. Twitter is a social networking tool that is a cross between text messaging and blogging with a character count limitation. Twitter has become very popular over the years. It would be no surprise to hear that all of my parents actually have and actively use a Twitter account. Because of this, Twitter could be a great tool to introduce as the new addition to our communication montage. I bet you're wondering now how Twitter can help with communication between parents and teachers. Because Twitter is free, easy to join, and easily accessible via the computer, laptop, iPad, or cellular device, it shouldn't be a problem when introducing it as a new form of communication. There are many ways that teachers can use Twitter. They can post daily reminders such as returning permission slips, bringing in a requested item from home for a class project, or to check and return the daily composition book and folder. According to Solomon and Shrum, when you post something to Twitter, and if Twitter is available on your mobile device, you will receive a message whenever I post a tweet. Also, tweeting new information about programs and upcoming events are other ways teachers can use Twitter. Parents can use Twitter to stay on top of their child's education, be reminded daily of upcoming dates and new information, and to also ask questions. Twitter only allows you to tweet up to a certain amount of characters, which allows for both parents and teachers to get their point across without long and drawn-out posts. Why is Twitter in the classroom necessary, especially when you already have multiple forms of communication? Well, no amount of forms of communication is ever enough. By offering Twitter as an added, optional form of communication, parents and teachers can stay connected in a new way that may be fit for many. I have a handful of parents who never check composition books, folders, or emails, but they post on Twitter and Facebook daily. For these specific parents, Twitter would be an amazing addition. Also, Twitter is easily accessible, free, and would be optional for any parents who actually want to utilize it. Although Twitter would not be mandatory, I would provide a tutorial video along with the videos Twitter provides in order to help parents learn how to use the tool, in hopes that they'll utilize it in the future. With this new form of communication, there are some barriers to overcome. For example, could Twitter become a place for parents to complain about the school or programs offered at the school? Would parents think that offering Twitter to communicate is unprofessional and unfit for an elementary school? What if parents don't approve of using Twitter? Would we stop the use of it? Barriers such as these are quite possible, and overcoming them is important. Overcoming barriers could be a difficult task, but with the right approach, any barrier can be broken through easily. For one, because Twitter and tweeting only allows for a certain amount of characters, it makes it difficult for people to complain about something in full detail. However, if parents begin to use it as a window to bash a program or school, simply remind all parents that this form of communication is used strictly for setting reminders and learning new information. I would also advise all parents that if they had any specific problems, suggestions, questions, or concerns, to direct them to myself personally through face-to-face, phone, or email. Twitter could also be a very controversial tool to introduce to parents. Many parents may not agree with it, or they may feel it is unprofessional to use in an elementary school. For these parents, I would remind them of the guidelines used and reviewed for using Twitter. It is, again, strictly used as another form of communication that is offered to parents. It is completely optional and will only be used to send reminders and new information about the school and programs. I would also remind that privacy settings would be put into place so that only the group of parents and teachers are able to view the content posted on Twitter. I would encourage and remind any skeptical parents the effectiveness of using Twitter in the classroom in terms of improving communication. After all, it is their child's education, and the parents must feel comfortable with the improvements being made in the classroom. Their feedback and opinions are always welcomed and appreciated, and it is up to educators and parents to work through any problems that may arise when introducing any type of new tool or program. Thank you for taking the time to view this podcast on using Twitter in the classroom. I hope that you have gained a little more insight into the ways to use Twitter to solve a current communication problem in the classroom. Please stay tuned for a tutorial video created for parents to show how to access, sign up, and navigate Twitter. Here is a list of resources I use to obtain information on Twitter and the pictures I incorporated in the slideshow. Hello PA Cyber families, this is Ms. Megan here with a tutorial video of how to sign up for Twitter and how to use it as another form of communication between parents and teachers. So let's get started. If you open up a new Internet Explorer box, the web address you're going to type in is www.twitter.com. And it'll bring you to this page. If you don't already have a Twitter, you're going to come right over to this box here, and you're going to put in your full name, email address, and password, and then it'll prompt you to a new page where you can sign up. I already have one, so I will put my username and password in. And when you do sign up and log in, it'll bring you here to your main page. I want to go over the top tabs up here first so that you can better understand what they all mean and how to use it, and what you're actually going to be seeing, especially if you've never used Twitter before. So here's your home page. This is where you're going to see all the people that you follow, their tweets, the things that they say, the things that they comment on, and things like that. If you only follow me and the people and the other parents in the class, you'll only see their stuff. You only see the things of the people you actually follow. So if you go to Connect, which is the next tab at the top, you will see Interactions. And these are the things that people tweet, if they follow you, if they write something about you, you'll see it all here in Interactions. The next tab is Discover. Discover is where you can see all the activity that you're doing and all the people that you follow are doing. It also suggests people that you can follow, and it also is the place where you can find friends. So if you click on this and you don't know, the correct address of the person that you want to follow, you can come down here and you can search for them. You can search for them through email, through Yahoo, Hotmail, and if you just hit search Twitter, you can find them that way. And the next tab up here is the Me tab, which will bring you right to your main profile. And this is probably where you're going to be spending the most time. This is where you're going to see all the people that tweet you, that send you messages, all of the messages that you send. It shows you the people that you follow, the people that follow you, and so on. So this is probably where you're going to be spending the most time. The next tab up here is the Settings tab. This is where you can edit your profile. You can send direct messages to specific people. And you can also edit your settings and privacy settings and things like that. And this last tab up here is where you would compose a tweet. So if you click on this, it'll bring a little box up, and that's where you can type a little message in there. If you want it to tweet to a specific person, you're going to start with an @ symbol, and then you're going to type in their username. So I'm not following anyone right now, but say I wanted to send a specific tweet to PA Cyber. I would just do @PA Cyber, and then I would type a specific message, and I would tweet it. As you can see down here, you only have a specific amount of characters, so make sure whenever you do type in a tweet, it is nice and short and sweet. So that is pretty much the quick how-to of how to sign up for Twitter and how to use it. I hope that it helped, and I hope that it's easy for you to sign up. And remember, if you ever have any questions or concerns, to email us or give us a call.